Welcome to the 26th episode of It's All About People, where we learn and grow from people who are doing great in their career. In this podcast, we have an amazing personality who is a senior assistant professor in Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department in MIT Manipal, which is part of Mahi University, which is an institute of eminence. And also, he is the CEO of the Curious Tech Labs, which is a startup on medical device company. And not only that, he is a secretary at iTrue, that is International Training and Research in Oncology and Endology. So, we welcome Nithesh Naik sir to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Herschelle, for inviting me for this podcast. Okay, hope it will be interesting for the audience.
Yes, sure, sir. And talking about interesting, your interest is into research and development. So many people might not be aware of what is research all about. So can you give a gist about it? What research is basically meaning?
Basically, when you speak about research and development, it is two parts. Okay, research is one part and development is the other. So it is a systematic way when you create some work or undertake a scientific knowledge, including knowledge that is related to culture or society, or also it can be manufacturing or devising a new instruments. All these come under research and development. Okay, so research is a process basically where you gather the information, analyze it. Okay, it is data specific. So if you have a question or a hypothesis, how to find the answer for that? Okay, that is called research. So basically, when you conduct a research, you need to identify a problem. Once you identify a problem, you need to look into the literature. Okay, what is this literature? Literature is nothing but what people have done in similar field or to address a similar problem. There may be multiple ways, okay, various dimensions which an individual can think about to address a same problem. So has people already trying to address this problem? Have they tried something differently earlier? You try to look for this information. So once you look and get this information, so you study and design an experiment. That is nothing but the methodology. How exactly I can address this problem? What is the stepwise I can move towards getting the solution for this problem? So overall, by interpreting the results which you get, so you draw a conclusion whether this solution would be best or not. Wherein development is a part of next continuation of the research. So once your research is completed on a particular aspect, then okay, the solution what you want to develop, what way you can deliver a product to the people which will help them or facilitate easing their life. Okay, that's what is the development part. So once in development, you build a prototype, you test it, you undergo some clinical trials so that you can develop a robust product to bring it to the market. So basically, this research and development will together is nothing but it is a science, technology, innovation, which has significant role on economic, social, and environmental impact. So it has to be in these areas wherein the research and development will give an impact on the outcome from this research and development. There should be a social impact or economic impact or environmental impact.
Yes, sir. And many institutes and companies, they're also focusing on research and they want to develop their product, or it could be improvise on this product that they existingly have. So why is research publication not very important, or why must be the research what they're doing? It should be published to some publication houses.
Yeah, it is not only me. There are multiple people across the globe who will do research. Their topics may be different. Their areas of interest may be different. But okay, I am working, for example, on material science or nanotechnology. There are lakhs of people working on similar domain. We need to, as a researcher, we need to share the information and the knowledge what we have gained within our limitation, what is the possible outcome which we have gained, or the knowledge of the research, so that if we share, okay, if we share, they can read our outcomes, understand, and get some newer ideas, or they can try and replicate our ideas. So what we basically look for is a platform wherein we can tell people, like what we are doing now, a podcast. So it's a platform. People use different platforms to, okay, disseminate the information. So similarly, researchers have found a platform where something like patents they do, or they publish it as a research article, wherein they share the information about the experimentation which they have conducted, or the processes which they have undergone. So basically, when you say why research has to be published, it is basically to disseminate the knowledge. That is one important thing. Second step which your research will undergo is peer review. So once you apply to a publisher or a publishing house or a journal, so there is a process called as peer review. Now, what is this peer review? So a journal is a platform wherein multiple researchers come together. Now, in the same area which you are working, there may be other people. The journal facilitates you to share the information to other experts and evaluate your work, and say, or those reviewers or those experts can give you some suggestions, telling that why didn't you try this, what made you try this methodology, is there any flaws in your methodology, can you correct this. So they give basically suggestions which we call it as review comments, and based on them we improvise so that the outcome which finally when it is online to the people, okay, it is uh, vetted well and well presented, so that it becomes easy for people to understand and replicate. This is very important because unlike a blog or something, I simply cannot go and post it online. People verify it, okay, if the content is really good, okay, is it of scholarly reputation, or transparent, or it benefits the society or not. So these are the things which are involved in the publishing process. That's why researchers believe in publishing the article or in some journal, so that we can share our information or the efforts which we have taken to the globe, to the people globally.
Yes, sir. As you have mentioned that every system, it could be like a blog or it could be a podcast, it also has its own systems to be followed or a format to be followed. Similarly, does a research paper also have some format to be followed, or is there any particular format that we need to write a research paper?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a follow a standard format. So the template may be different from journal to journal or the publishing house. Okay, if it is a patent, but the standard methodology or standard format which we follow to share our information, which people have accepted globally and understand that when an individual presents its work, okay, it should be in a particular format. Now, what is that format? So a research article basically first will have a title. What are you talking about? The title of the project. So after that comes the abstract. So abstract is a brief 250 to 300 words which you cover to brief the entire work. So when you present an abstract, okay, when someone wants to read, when someone feels that this topic is very fascinating, I want to know what this person has done. Okay, my entire article may be very long, my entire research may be too much things which are involved. But as an overview, whether it is of my interest, someone wants to read about it briefly. So I am giving a summary there in abstract of 250 to 300 words with few keywords telling that I am doing this. This is the methodology which I had followed. These are the critical outcomes which I got in this particular research. And overall, what did I conclude from the entire research? So entire research, it may be 20-page or 30-page article, but you are concising it to 250 words or 300 words and briefing or giving a summary of the work. Next topic, next title, or the next heading will be introduction. So always we follow the same pattern. Title, abstract, then it will have keywords, then we will have materials and methods or methodology, then we will be having a section called as results and discussion, and then we will move on to conclusion. After conclusion, there is a section called as references. So I will tell you, introduction is introduction to the topic as an overall thing, what people are doing and have done in this particular area, how already people have done something, okay, or outcomes are there, or some researchers have worked using a different methodology. All this we will be quoting under introduction, and at the end of the introduction we tell that how differently I have done, what is the novelty of this particular study or this particular research. So as an ending note to the introduction, I will tell that globally these people, this one from USA, one from China, one from Sri Lanka, from different parts of the world might have addressed a similar topic with different approaches, but I am trying to do and provide you a novel solution using this particular methodology, okay, to the topic. That's how we write, elaborate, and conclude the introduction section. After that, we'll go to materials and methods, or we call it as methodology section, wherein the methodology section, what I have done, what is the process I have followed, what are the procedure and steps that are involved in my research. So it should be explained well in detail. Okay, always this materials and methods or the methodology section should be very clear with the equations or some figures which are shown, or the methodology or the processes involved. So everything should be very clear because it should be replicated. That is the objective when you write your methodology. If, for example, tomorrow another person wants to follow my methodology and do something similar, he should be able to follow my paper, follow my research article, and replicate the study. That's it should not be ambiguous. It should be very crystal clear what is followed in my research. So that is a very important thing. Coming to next, results and discussion. What I have got, what results I got from this particular research or the methodology which I follow, I should put it in brief about the plots or explanation about the outcomes of my study. As well, there is in the section only title, it says results and discussion. Not only presenting the results, not only putting some graphs there, I need to discuss about it and infer something. What are the critical observations there which are found, so that people can correlate the plots and understand, okay, this methodology was followed and these are the results which are obtained, and what does it infer from them. And next section will be conclusion. Overall study, what did it conclude? So what was the overall outcome of this particular study? You tell it in the conclusion section. I told you one more section, which is called as references. So reference is nothing but previous literature citations which we use. Okay, as I told, study from the literature. When you do research, you need to explore what people have done previously in the similar area. So when I write my article also, I need to quote them, telling that this person has done something like this using this methodology. So all of them, I need to cite them, and these articles which are previously published should be listed. So this listing is done under the section called as references.
Yes, yes.
So that's the brief about the topic.
Yes, sir, that's very well said. Even many researchers and also professors as well, they follow the format. They know how to do introduction. They know how to do the conduct the research, methodology, references, everything. But when it goes to the publication house, they might be facing one challenge, that is the research paper got rejected. Is it because of the formatting error, or what is that exact thing that happens in the publication house due to which a research paper gets rejected?
Yeah, this is very good question actually. Everyone should face a rejection. Okay, then only you will understand why they rejected. So if everything you send, okay, gets published, even though if it is very good article, you feel that it is excellent, it is a path-breaking delivery, but it may not interest someone. Someone may feel that there may be a flaw, or there may not be a flaw sometimes, but sometimes there are multiple reasons, okay, for which the publisher rejects the article. So we'll discuss about it. There are several reasons why, possible reasons. Okay, someone in the journal editorial board who is an expert, it goes to him for review. He feels that okay, the quality is poor or lack of originality. There is no novelty in the project. Someone has already done similar things. What is the need for this person to do the same thing again, doing some small tweaks? The outcomes were not that great comparably to the other. Okay, when you see the previous literature, someone has done, okay, the outcome is around 78%, and you say that it is with your methodology 78.5 or 78 only. It may be of interest for someone. The methodology you have followed may be interesting, but it purely sometimes depends on the perception of an individual to whom it has gone to. So, wherein they may feel that this is not suitable for the publication in our journal. That doesn't mean that all journals globally will not accept your work. So you can try to some other journal. Okay, they may feel very interesting. They may tell, okay, I'm going to publish. Okay, there are minor revisions. Someone, how it is given is okay. Once it goes to peer review, the editorial board screens your article. Okay, then after that it goes to peer review. So there is a generally blinded review. That means, okay, who is the author? All these things will not be disclosed. So it is generally the technical content which an individual called reviewer has to evaluate. So based on his comments, based on his suggestions, if he feels that the article has to go major revisions, he may give the suggestion and give some points to improvise. Okay, he may tell that okay, this is very good, and it can be corrected. So minor revisions can be given, or maybe they may give accept. Or if your luck is not good, then the rejection will come. So that's what we are talking about, the rejection. So failure to meet editorial standards, sometimes it may be the reason. The way you have presented or the inconsistent or incomplete data may be also a reason. Lack of significance of your work may be a reason. Failure to cite relevant literature. Okay, you have missed out last 1 year or 2 years what is done. You are referring to old things what are done. There are a lot of developments which have happened recently, but you are totally missed out. So that is one thing. There may be conflict of interest also sometimes. Okay, two researchers have done similar work and say that it belongs to me, so that may be also a reason for rejection. So they see, okay, board or the journal see from where the information is collected, all this technical, scientific soundness of that particular article is evaluated before taking a decision that it doesn't suit the requirement of the journal. And they tell one sentence telling that not that your article is very bad or quality is bad, that's why we reject. However, we are sorry at this moment, we will not be able to accept your article. We suggest you to try other avenues for publishing this good research. That's the common statement when a publisher rejects and rejects your article. So he's telling you, don't be sad, you try it again, or your future research, try with us. But at this moment, I may not be able to accept your work which has been done and presented as a research article.
Yes, sir, that's very well said. The last point which you have told, that when the research paper gets rejected, it is not that your research paper is bad. Maybe at that point of time, that research might not be relevant to that industry that you might be doing. So that's the
Right.
mindset that every researchers should be taking when they are publishing their research paper as well. And
Every research will have gone a
mm,
lot of work.
Mm,
So we need to take it positively and think, okay, well, if it is rejected, what may be the reasons for the rejection? We need to
mm.
evaluate ourselves so that we can present it, refine it well, and retry it.
Yes, sir. And also you're into a multidisciplinary research as well, that your like initial background was from mechanical and industrial engineering, and again you are a CEO of a medical startup company. So how are you conducting yourself in multidisciplinary research?
See, basically these days, anything which you do should be interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary. So people, if you see, there are several branches. Okay, if a car which you see, which you use today, or a bike which you use, there are electronic components in it, mechanical components in it. Okay, electronics into it, IT also, computers also into it, digital, all those things. Okay, there is programmed stuff, everything. So everything is an integration these days. So you can't live without doing multidisciplinary research. You need to understand at least what, how to integrate the knowledge, what you have. Yours is a mechanical system. So you want to integrate and improvise to facilitate the benefit, or to help, or make the product more attractive. So you need to integrate with computer engineer, or electronics engineer, or automobile engineer. So there, that is where multidisciplinary comes. Or as you said, I am into medical device. Okay, how I can, as a mechanical engineer, give some solutions to healthcare sector. So these are wide domains which are open now these days for every researcher. So basically, when you say multidisciplinary research, it involves integration of different knowledge, methods, and ideas which we collate together. Okay, whoever is expert, okay, maybe dental sciences, medical science, his expertise, based on his expertise, he will give some inputs. How it can be solved, okay, bringing together my ideas together, okay, that can be brainstormed together to bring out a solution. So it is basically a collaboration between the people with different ideas and different domains to bring out a product or innovation from it.
Yes, sir, that's very well said, because multidisciplinary is very important right now in these days as the technology revolution is going on. And as you're coming to the conclusive segments of the podcast, that is, we have already discussed about how research paper is done, how we are publishing it, and what are the mistakes that people make while publishing their research paper. But while it comes to important part, that is some tips and tricks from your experiences that you have published so many research paper, can you share it to us? And we can also learn and publish good papers as well in the coming future.
Always, always. I always like to share the knowledge. Okay, discuss with our friends, even with over a coffee or a tea, always about what differently I wrote, so that it interested the people. Okay, I had so many citations. People are citing my research. What differently, or how differently I had written that particular article, which interested the people. So first point is you need to plan your paper before starting to write. What should be the sections? How I need to present it? Okay, that should be very well planned in your mind before you put it on a paper. Okay, the second thing, when you write, you need to write it very clearly and concisely. You should not drag too much. People don't have patience to read lot of stuffs which you put in together. It should be very concise. Okay, you are very expert in language. You use some very high-fi words which people cannot understand. They need to look for dictionary. What is he talking about? No, you should not do that. So use evidence to support your arguments. Whenever you say some sentences, okay, that's where you tell, okay, the previous researcher had done this. Okay, I am also doing this based on the outcome of that particular person. So you need to have evidences to support your arguments. Revise and edit your work. So take, once you write down and compile the things and bring it in the sections which I told you earlier. So have a look at it, or ask your friend to read it. Take some suggestions. Are there any spelling errors, grammatical errors? Make sure that your work is presented logically in a coherent way. use citations and referencing properly. This is what I told. Do not skip recent and relevant works. Last 3 years thing. It's very fast research is going on. 3 years back, none of the recent works you are even cited or referred to. That doesn't make sense. So you need to look into it. Important thing, plagiarism is also a very important key factor. You can't copy and paste what others have done. Your work should be novel. It should be presented differently, and you should follow, and this will help. These are the tips which are the topics which I told will surely help you to, if you keep it in mind, will surely help you to write a very good article. So improve the quality of the paper which you are presenting with the great ideas, and it should be very clear, logical, and importantly, it should be in a convincing manner. So that's where you will be able to satisfy the editors how you have written in a logical manner and in a detailed way, concise way, coherent way, so that someone reads it, clearly understands in one go. This is what he has done. This is the outcome which he has received in that article. It's very crystal clear. There is no hanky-panky things here and there. I find the data here and there. How to correlate? If I don't understand, then my article will not receive any importance. Basically, we want to share the knowledge, so it should be in a simplistic manner.
Yes, sir. That's very important as well, because while writing the research paper, we think we know the technical terms or we might be well versed in technical language. But when it comes to a common reader from different discipline, he needs to understand what the paper is all about. And that's really well said, sir. From top to bottom, from starting with the abstract till the references, we have covered all the details regarding the research paper, what it needs to be, and also publication, what kinds of errors that people make, and how we need to take those rejections as well. So thank you again, sir, for coming to our podcast, sharing your knowledge, and giving us time to learn about your work as well, sir.
Thank you, Herschelle, for this opportunity. I'm always open to discussions and provide and share the knowledge which I have gained from my mentors to young people who are interested in research.